we need to become not the deciders, but the resource that our kids can always come to. Dear Ian, my 11-year-old son recently asked if he could have more privacy. He wants me to knock before entering his room, and he gets frustrated when I check his messages or ask too many questions about his conversations with friends. Part of me understands that he's growing up. The other part worries that giving too much privacy means missing something important. I want to build trust, but I also feel responsible for keeping him safe. How do parents balance a child's growing need for privacy with their responsibility to stay involved and protective? Unsure Kevin. Kevin, great question. As our kids evolve, their needs are going to change. Our kids evolve alongside their needs evolving. And there'll come a point in 10 to 14 years where your child no longer needs you to make the choices for them. That's coming. It's all coming, and it's coming at roughly the same cadence that it happened for you. Let's bear that in mind, okay? I am a broken record when it comes to talking about foundation. And what's the foundation of every family but your principles? Now, your principles cannot be the foundation for your family if they only exist in your mind. Our first principle here in this family is safety. If we don't have safety, we don't have anything. With that in mind, the conversation around what's appropriate in terms of you not being able to see their conversations or know what's happening with them from time to time, you wouldn't let them go outside of the house, or you wouldn't want to be ignorant to where they were if they were outside of the house, let's say it that way. And social media provides no less exposure to a world that you can't control. It's the same. For many of us, we've lived those school of hard knocks. We've learned the hard way, and we want to save our little ones that exposure. Look, I grew up in a household where drugs and alcohol was present. I know what that can look like. How do I impart that on my kids? It's something that I struggle with very often. Besides telling them the truth, that's all I've got. But I need to tell them the truth because I'm prioritizing safety. The more my kids know, the more informed decisions they can make. We need to establish a safe space for that conversation to happen. So if my kid comes to me and says, hey dad, my friend wanted me to try beer, but I didn't, but I'm curious. If I react to that with blowing up, like, who did it? Like coming at them in some kind of accusatory way, then I'm cutting myself off at the knees in terms of having an open, trusting relationship with them. And then what happens in the dark is far less safe than what happens in the light, okay? Maybe I do find out the friend who offered the beer, and I have a conversation with the dad. And I say, hey, look, our kids are this age, they're curious about beer. I think I'd rather them try it in front of us than away from us, out in the woods somewhere. How can we set this up? Or let's talk about this, okay? We need to become not the deciders, but the resource that our kids can always come to. But it comes from establishing safety first. And they need to be intellectually and emotionally safe with us, not just physically safe. All three areas, the emotional, the physical, the psychological, all need to be present in our dynamic in order to really be of service to them in this way. You don't want them getting their messages elsewhere. Or if you do want them getting their messages elsewhere, you want to be able to shape that elsewhere. Maybe it's auntie, maybe it's abuela. So you just keep that in mind. More privacy? Sure. But shape it in a way that's comfortable for you. The privacy can be having his door shut, and the privacy can't be having unfettered access to TikTok. Whatever feels right for you, that's the part you can agree on, and let it gradually be earned. I don't know what the right size is for your family dynamic. I don't know how much screen time fits for you. The way that I measure it is by measuring the connectedness. How much quality time are we having connecting? Because as long as that's being met, what happens outside of that, I'm a little more okay with. We've got to have our nutrient of family. Priority number 2 in my group. If there's not enough family, then something else has to give. It's never going to be the safety that gives, and it's never going to be family that gives. It's whatever lies beneath that. Curiosity is our third one. So in this case, if you were using my principles, their curiosity to explore the world under their own agency is only shaped by the family component and the safety component. So as long as family is present and as long as safety is present, your curiosity can happen in the way you need it to. My kids will not have social media profiles. They can create videos, I can post them, but I want it to be of their activities and I want it to be faceless. Those are my criteria. When they're watching YouTube, no matter how annoying whatever they're watching is, I want it to happen around me. I want it to happen in my space. When they're watching movies, I want to be watching them with them, or at least in the space. That's the work. It's a conversation you need to have. And I promise you, you're going to have more success with it, and it's going to be more sustainable if you include him in the conversation rather than saying, it's this, my way or the highway. Let it be a collaborative effort. What are the principles that we're all about? Again, mine are safety, family, curiosity, and then what does that look like in practice? Wants me to knock before entering his room. I think that's a legitimate request. Is there something that you find challenging about that? It might be that in your childhood, what you were up to at 11 behind the privacy of your door, you're worried about him doing too. Have that conversation. He gets frustrated when I check his messages or ask too many questions again. That's within the bounds of your relationship. If you feel like safety is being enforced by having that, say, hey, look, that's the deal, kid. You've got a cell phone, you've got social media profiles. I get full visibility. If that's not something you like, you can go out and earn your own phone, do your own thing, and emancipate yourself. You set the parameters. You do. But for as long as we are the parents, which is their entire life, we get to be the parents. But until they're adults, they're not making decisions on their own about adult things and about venturing out into the world, whether it's through technology or out into the physical world. We get to shape that because we are responsible for their safety. Period. Unsure, Kevin, you are sure. Your kid trusts you enough to bring the concerns your way. Nurture that, appreciate that, show gratitude for that, because that's the relationship you want to strengthen. As they become adolescents, they're going to pull away because they've only, during those first 10 years, identified themselves as little versions of you. This is the time for them to really start identifying themselves. Who am I in the world, independent of my parents? Part of your son's exploration is about him defining himself. That's beautiful. That's a process you went through too.